The door stood at the end of the street, unmarked and ordinary, no different in shape or color from the others I had passed. And yet I noticed it at once. Every other door along the way had been closed, some warped by age, some swollen by time, some pressed so tightly into their frames that they seemed to resist even memory. This one did not. It rested against the frame, neither open nor closed, as if waiting for a decision that had already been made. I stopped a few steps away, not from fear, but from recognition. Some things do not announce themselves. They simply allow themselves to be seen. As I moved closer, the dust on the stones beneath my feet changed. There were no clear footprints and no signs of haste, but the ground here felt less forgotten than the rest of the street. Disturbed not recently, but deliberately. I placed my hand on the wood. It was cool, dry, and unbroken. I expected resistance. There was none. The door moved inward with a sound so soft it felt like a breath released after being held for too long. Inside, the air was different. Not warmer and not colder, but preserved, as if the room had been sealed against the passing of years. Dust lay thick along the walls, yet the center of the room remained clear. A single table stood there, with one chair beside it. Nothing was overturned, nothing abandoned in panic. This place had not been fled. It had been left exactly as it was meant to remain. I stepped inside and closed the door behind me. The sound settled quickly, absorbed by stone and silence. My armor felt heavier here, not on my shoulders, but somewhere deeper. I removed my gloves and placed them on the table. The surface bore faint impressions, not scratches, but signs of hands that had rested there again and again, waiting. Against the far wall stood a small shelf. Most of it was empty, but one space had been cleared with care, as if something important had once rested there and had been taken intentionally. Not stolen, not lost, chosen. I found myself staring at that empty space longer than I should have, aware that absence can sometimes weigh more than any object ever could. A candle sat on the table, burned down completely, nothing left but hardened wax. There were no smoke stains on the ceiling, and no trace of recent flame. It had not burned lately, but it had burned until the very end. I sat down slowly. The chair creaked in quiet protest, unused to weight and unused to choice. I rested my hands on my knees and listened, but the city beyond the walls remained silent. My thoughts returned to the day I left, not to the reasons or the orders, but to the moment I turned away. I had believed there would be time to return, time to explain, time to stand where I was needed. That belief had been enough to carry me away. It had not been enough to bring me back. My gaze returned once more to the empty shelf. Whatever had rested there had been important enough to be taken when everything else was. Left behind. Important enough to carry through silence and distance. Important enough to survive. I stood again. The room did not resist my leaving and did not cling to me. It simply remained, unchanged and patient. Before opening the door, I paused, not because I expected someone behind me, but because I understood that the city was not empty. It was unfinished. I stepped back into the street and closed the door gently. The sound faded quickly, absorbed by dust and stone. I did not look back, because I knew this was only the first place that had been waiting for me, and whatever waited next would not remain silent for long.